HOAs, they're seizing homes. Could be your home. And it's an alarming reality that homeowners can't afford to ignore. Many believe that staying current on their mortgage is enough to protect their property, but unpaid HOA dues and even minor infractions can lead to foreclosure. In some states, HOA foreclosures can take precedence over mortgages, putting your home at greater risk than you might realize. Now, this isn't just about fines. It's about potential loss of your home over trivial issues like overgrown grass or trash cans left out too long. The stakes couldn't be any higher, and it's crucial to understand the full extent of the HOA's power before it's too late. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Diane Cardano-Casacio here for great information. I'm also at the end have a little bonus tips and really what are the pros and cons of living in an HOA. Protect your home and stay informed about the real estate realities on my channel. Let's get started. So what triggers an HOA to foreclose on your home? Well, good question. It's pretty straightforward. Failure to pay your dues, whether they're a monthly or annual or special assessments or even fines. Yes, even these little fines, HOAs, they love to slap on you for the smallest things, like your grass being too high or leaving your trash cans out too long. I've heard of that one, believe it or not. Across the United States, approximately 74 million Americans live in HOA communities. That's a lot. And collectively, these communities collect billions in dues and fees annually. And there's a Community Associations Institute that reported that in just 2020 alone, HOAs collected nearly $95 billion in assessments. Imagine what that is, as since 2020, HOA increases have been, for most communities, between 40 and 50%. So what does this money do? Well, the money funds various community services and all the amenities, but it also means that when homeowners fail to pay, even a small amount, it can lead to severe consequences. HOAs have the authority to enforce community rules strictly. And if you don't comply, this can quickly result in fines and they accumulate rapidly. So if you miss the payments, the HOA can place a lien on your property. And that lien, it discourages potential buyers and mortgage companies, signaling that there might be some kind of debt issue on your property. So once the lien's in place, the HOA can pursue foreclosure and actually force the sale of your property to settle the debt. And guess what? In some states, HOA foreclosures do take precedence over mortgage foreclosures. I didn't know that, but learning a lot from getting this research done. I can't believe it. But the rationale behind it is that they want to ensure that the community services are funded by the dues and they continue these services uninterrupted. And according to the data from the Urban Institute, about 22 states have laws that allow HOAs to initiate non-judicial foreclosures, which means they can foreclose without going to court. That's crazy. You could be sitting at home one day and someone knocks at your door and they're telling you they own the house now. That happens a lot. I'll have a couple stories about that. So stay tuned. But this process is quicker when it's non-judicial and offers leaves homeowners, like I say, with a little bit of recourse, little bit, hardly ever any, to contest the foreclosure. Now, let me share some real-life stories that highlight just how extreme this can get. Story of 2022 Air Force Master Sergeant Christopher Bando had to serve overseas in Turkey for 15 months. He set up these automatic payments for his HOA dues, but due to some glitch in the system, the payments stopped. In return, he found his house was foreclosed and sold for just $2,500 in unpaid fees. Can you imagine that? Serving your country only to come home and find your home gone. This case is bad. It underscores a critical issue, a lack of leniency or flexibility by some HOAs in handling payment issues. And before that, they should have realized this guy was overseas. Even as this guy, he was homeowner, he was in a unique, challenging situation. His story, though, isn't isolated. According to Coalition for Homeowner Protection, says that hundreds of military families face threats due to foreclosure for deployment-related issues. Because, the things just happen. Like I said, Christopher's story isn't unique. It's a chilling reminder of how powerful HOAs can be. Sometimes they let it get to their head too much, and how little known this issue is. There are numerous cases where minor administrative errors or lapses in communication have led to homeowners losing their properties. In 2018, there was a survey, for example, that the National Consumer Law Center found that many homeowners were unaware of the full extent of their HOA powers until they faced foreclosure. And the lack of awareness is partly due to the complexity and length of HOA governing documents, which many homeowners don't read, they don't understand. That's why when I tell people you have 21 days to look over these documents, make sure you know what you're getting into. Because in most agreements of sale here in Pennsylvania, when you buy HOA property, condominium, you get the documents probably in about 2 weeks, depending how fast they are to get. And then you have only a certain many days to read it all and accept it. So do your due diligence in this area. It's not just Christopher. In 2021, in a community in Denver called Green Valley Ranch, I found out from this article that 50 homes were foreclosed by HOA. This HOA must have been a crazy HOA, but one family, unaware that their home was foreclosed upon, they faced fines accumulated to like $10,000 over minor infractions. Like I was saying before, trash cans weren't put away. They're still making their mortgage payments, but they couldn't keep up with all these fines. And one day someone knocked on their door and told them they were the new owners of their home. Now, that's crazy, right? Now, this incident reflects a broader trend where HOAs in certain communities have been aggressive. They pursued fines and foreclosures. It's like, I don't know what is into some of these people that are on these boards. This shouldn't be happening. In this Green Valley Ranch development, many residents complained that the HOA's enforcement policies were overly harsh and lacked transparency. And I believe that. According to a report by Denver Post, these foreclosures have disproportionately affected low-income and minority homeowners. There were some existing inequalities there in the housing, so I can believe that. But the most infuriating part is that many homeowners aren't even aware that this can happen. They're not giving notice. They often don't read the lengthy reports, the covenants, conditions, and restrictions. They sign it at closing or whenever. It's a few 100 pages long, so who has the time to read through all that? But do it. I found a study done by the Foundation of Community Home Association Research. Believe it, there's something like that out there. They found that 67% of homeowners in HOA communities are unaware of their community's government documents and extent of their HOA's authority. 67%. That's the lack of knowledge. This is what leaves people vulnerable for unexpected penalties and legal actions. So make sure you read these things. And furthermore, many homeowners assume that as long as they're paying their mortgage, they are safe from losing their home, not realizing that the HOA dues and fines can just be as critical. Now, thankfully, some states are stepping up. North Carolina, Georgia, Colorado, and Florida. They're all proposing laws to limit HOA power to foreclose. For instance, in North Carolina, the lien must be equal to or greater than 6 months of assessments or $2,500, whichever is less. And also, HOAs must offer reasonable payment plans and provide ample notice of any increase in dues. So these changes are crucial to protecting homeowners from losing their homes over relatively small amounts. And legislative efforts are gaining momentum due to this growing awareness of HOA foreclosure practices, which is great. Some of these HOAs have way too much power. I was reading something in Colorado, for example. There's this bill they had, 221137, something like that. It aims to increase transparency and fairness in HOA operations by requiring more detailed disclosures and providing homeowners with additional rights to challenge fines and fees before foreclosure can proceed. I love that. Advocacy groups like the American Association of Retired Persons, which is ARP, it's a great association, and also NAR, they also have been very vocal, and they're pushing for these reforms to protect vulnerable homeowners, which is great to have that backing, because some of this is not fair. So, what can you do if you find yourself facing an HOA foreclosure? First, talk to a local attorney. There are defenses you might not be aware of, like erroneous accounting by the HOA, inaccurate recording of the lien, or the HOA not following proper foreclosure procedures, which is usually the case. An attorney can help you navigate the complex situation. There's legal experts. Also, most legal experts they recommend that homeowners document all communications. Very important. Please document with our HOA and keep meticulous records of payments. Maybe if you're on a phone call, to record the phone call. Record any dispute. Everything you do with HOA, definitely keep track of. This documentation, believe it or not, can be very crucial in challenging an HOA claims. Additionally, there's some nonprofit organizations that offer free or low-cost legal assistance to homeowners facing foreclosure, providing another valuable resource. And with all this info, well, it may sound doom and gloom, but it's crucial to understand there are some pros of living in the HOA community, and there are these cons. So I'm going to break that down real quick as a bonus tip for you. Talking to many people and reading up on HOAs, most people love the amenities and maintenance. And the biggest advantage of living in an HOA is to have the pools, the fitness centers, and parks. And the HOA is responsible for keeping these amenities and common areas looking and good and in top condition. I have an HOA at the shore. I come down in May, I leave in September, and I never come back. I come back and it's great. So for me, it's great that way. So that's what it offers for us. It has 2 pools and tennis courts and pickleball. So when the kids come down, there's a pool. I don't have to have any of that stuff. All the recreation is provided. And that works for me. and my husband. The second pro I love in our community down the shore are the community standards. This HOA enforces rules and regulations to help maintain the community's appearance and the property values. This can be a significant benefit, especially if you're concerned about neighbors neglecting their yards and making unsightly modifications to their homes. Like in our HOA, you can't hang towels over the railings. Imagine all these townhouses having towels. It will look kind of junky. I love that part. And third thing that HOAs are great for and people love about them, the pros, are conflict resolution. They provide a structured way to resolve disputes between neighbors, and they can be helpful in maintaining a real peaceful community environment. And I can understand that. And that's kind of what we have in our place. There are the cons of living in them. Of course, they're the fees. They could be expensive. You never know if they're going to go up. They also have the assessments that happen, and depending on the amenities and services provided, maybe the fees are going up higher than the services. There's also restrictions. They have these rules. Don't paint your door a certain color, or landscaping choices and pet policies. So people who like to be independent and creative, they might not want to live in a HOA. And the worst thing about HOA is the potential for mismanagement. If the HOA board is not effectively managing funds or maintaining the community can lead to the financial maintenance issues. So some homeowners have experience with mismanaged HOAs. I have never had a mismanagement in our area, just that my husband thought that some of the costs of doing some of the repairs were high. He's in construction. He thought they were a little overkill, but everybody's different on that. So I would check out, make sure they're getting the right contractors out to fix the things and not overcharging. So in conclusion, I'm not sure if the HOA is right for you. Depends on your priorities and lifestyle, but make sure you keep up with your fees, document your payments, understand that they can foreclose on your home. And if you like these amenities, great for you, great. Just stay paying those dues and understand that part. And if you prefer autonomy and dislike additional fees, you might want to stay clear from these HOAs. I do want to hear from you guys. Come on. Have you ever dealt with an HOA, whether the experience was good or bad? I told you my experiences. Some of the things are great, some of the things are bad, but overall, it's good for me. Share your stories below. It could be a lifeline for someone else, so let us know if you found the video helpful. Thumbs up, subscribe. I'm looking for 1,000 subscribers by the end of August. And if you have any questions, call DianeandTeam.com to get in my schedule, or Diane'sCalendar.com. If you're selling your home in the Pennsylvania area or South Jersey, I'm the girl to call. Have a great day. See you on the next video. Can't wait.